Welcome to English with Miss Julia. This lesson is aimed at B1 learners, and we have a look at the frequency adverbs and the use thereof. I encourage you to stop the video regularly and revise the contents. When looking at the frequency adverbs, we noticed always to be at the top, referring to 100%, something that happens almost always, followed by usually, often, sometimes, occasionally, hardly ever, and never, with an indication of a 0%. Now let's have a look at how to use these frequency adverbs. Always. An example could be, I always get up at 7 o'clock. Or perhaps, the sun always rises in the morning. Usually. An example could be, I usually meet my friends for coffee on Saturday mornings. Another example could be, the baker usually has his bread ready by 5 a.m. Often. An example could be, I often eat pasta for lunch. Another example could be, I often see the policeman standing on the corner. Sometimes. An example could be, I sometimes use the bus to go to town. Another example could be, I sometimes read the newspaper when visiting the bar for a cup of coffee. Occasionally. An example could be, I occasionally eat Vietnamese food. Or perhaps we could say, I occasionally phone my friend in London. Hardly ever. An example could be, I hardly ever listen to the radio. Another example could be, I hardly ever park in that road. Never. An example could be, I never eat raw meat. Another example could be, I never drive around in Madrid. Here are some notes to take into consideration when using frequency adverbs. We usually put frequency adverbs before the main verb. An example, I usually or sometimes or never go to work in the evening. I don't often go to work at the weekend. We don't use never, hardly ever, and always at the beginning or end of sentences. We put frequency adverbs after the verb be. I am often ill in the winter. She is usually at university at 8 o'clock. There are other expressions that we can use to talk about frequency. These expressions are used at the beginning or end of sentences, not in the middle. Every day, every week, every month, every year. Once a day, twice a week, 3 times a month. On Fridays, at weekends. Most days, most nights, most weeks. On Fridays, I go to the office by bike. I go running twice a week. Thank you for doing this lesson with us. If you enjoyed it, please click the like button and do consider subscribing to our channel. This way we may reach people all over the world and assist them in their English language growth. We look forward to seeing you in our next lesson.